I had thought my earlier video, How Not to Get Blocked, was fairly straightforward. The only rules I have on my channel are things no mature adult should even be doing in the first place. None of these rules in any way constitute censorship. In fact, they're all prohibitions of behavior that gets in the way of free speech and open discussion. But apparently, there are just too many lies being spread around too many places about me and how I operate my channel. So apparently, I need to do this again to set the record straight. The first part of this video is my rules, and the second covers the reason why they're there. The first rule is no spamming or flooding. I hope we can all agree on this. I've never had any spamming from regular posters, and I've only had to block 2 of them for flooding in the whole time I've been on YouTube. For the record, spamming is unsolicited commercial posting, although truth be told, I'll probably let it stay if it's relevant to the video. Flooding is making repeated posts to try to stop others from responding. It's not, let's be clear, not making long posts broken down into separate comments due to YouTube's 500 character limit. It's only when the posts contain little more than garbage, and only when so many of them are posted in such a short time that it becomes impossible for others to reasonably respond or to see other comments. Second rule, no sock puppets. I've blocked several sock puppets, but I never ever blocked the original account. Unless, of course, they violated some other rule. You get one account, and that's that. If you don't want to use the original account anymore, just send me a PM on the non-blocked account and tell me which one you want to use. I'll block that one and unblock the one you request. I think that's reasonable. Rule 3. No threatening behavior. No threats of any kind of violence or retaliation against another user, physical or otherwise. There are ways to cause damage to someone online, and I won't stand for that on my channel. Rule 4. No stalking. No following people from video to video, harassing them about things that have nothing to do with the discussion. Of course, if it's relevant to the discussion, go right ahead. Rule 5, and this is a biggie. No libel or character assassination. Apparently, people who are supposedly mature and responsible adults need this repeatedly explained to them. If you attack not a user's point, but the user himself in a way that puts him in a bad light, that's not allowed. I'm not talking about name calling. Call someone an idiot, a moron, or even an asshole all you want. I don't even block for foul language. We're talking about outright accusations of the kind that make people appear guilty of something like fraud or even murder. I'm not making this up. People have actually made these accusations on my channel. This also includes quote mines, which make the person appear to have said something offensive or nefarious when no such thing was ever said. It doesn't matter if it's against me or another user. It doesn't even matter if it's against someone who's not even on my channel or someone long dead. It's not allowed. Now, just like in the US court system, truth is a defense to this. So if you can prove it, you're okay. But if you continue without doing so beyond your third warning, you will be blocked. I've had to block more people for violation of this rule than any other, probably more than all the others combined. Rule 6. No bigotry. This is similar to Rule 5, except that it's against a group of people. Again, if it applies, you're okay. For example, saying that creationists are liars and fraudsters is okay because it can easily be shown that they are. But if you extend this accusation to all Christians, it becomes bigotry, because then it just doesn't apply. There's also a kind of combination Rule 5, Rule 6 thing, where people make a bigoted comment in an attempt to discredit someone. Calling another poster gay or autistic are 2 common ones for some reason. There's nothing wrong with being gay or autistic, and even if the person were either or both of those things, it still wouldn't be cause to discredit him. I have zero tolerance policies on this. Extreme cases will result in the person being blocked immediately, no warning. My biggest zero tolerance policy is against the N-word. Post it, and you are blocked immediately. No second chances, no exceptions, no excuses. I grew up in the rural South. I've heard that word more than enough times for one life. Thank you very much. I've allowed tons of posts from creationists, moon hoaxers, statists, and law of attraction nutbars. There is no rule against disagreeing with me, and there is no rule about not being a complete idiot. It's only a select few that get blocked, the ones that violate the rules I just described. Sometimes weeks or even months will go by, full of disagreement and even heated debates, without anyone being blocked, simply because none of them have violated these rules. If you're a reasonable, intelligent person, then you can easily see the connective thread in all of these rules. Each and every one of them gets in the way of open and reasonable discussion of the issues. My channel is, despite the accusations levied against me by others, all about the free discourse of ideas. Look in the comments of pretty much any video, and you see people disagreeing with me all over the place. If you want to see what I'm trying to avoid, look at the comments on almost any Thunderfoot video. There is quite often the tendency to break into flame wars that get in the way of reasonable discussion, and it becomes almost impossible to have such a discourse on his channel. Now, I'm not blaming Thunderfoot for this. He gets a lot of comments, and if my channel got that many, I probably wouldn't have time to police things either. But as long as it stays at a manageable level, I just will not allow that sort of immature behavior to get in the way of rational discourse. Not on my channel. You see, this is not censorship. Censorship is when the government steps in and stops people from speaking. But when you go onto YouTube, you are on private property. This website is owned by Google, and they have allowed me to use a section of the site and have control over certain aspects of it. It's like Google is the landlord and I'm a tenant. If you come into someone's apartment, they have every right to kick you out if you get disruptive. Same thing here. When you comment on my or any other channel, you are a guest on someone else's property. Remember that. Now, it figures that creationists and moon hoaxers would go whining on their forums that I'm a hideous censor who blocks anyone who disagrees with me. Would it surprise you to learn that some of my fellow skeptics are doing this too? You see, for some reason, when some skeptics enter the political arena, they turn their skepticism off completely and start behaving just like the creationists. The most prominent example of this is a skeptic I used to respect, Andromeda's Wake. On his laughingly named forum, League of Reason, he wrote the following about me. Shane DK is a volatile and short-tempered individual and a flagrant censor on his own YouTube channel. Yet no one can point out one single instance where I blocked anyone who did not violate one or more of the above rules. They've tried, but in each case it's been about someone who was issued repeated warnings about his behavior. Yet, those who disagree with me on this, instead of engaging me directly, would prefer to lie about me and what I say. And the so-called League of Reason forum is a perfect example of this. I found it impossible to have any kind of discussion there because of precisely the same kind of behavior I've been talking about in this entire video, and I'm far from the only one. I've talked to several users who've had exactly the same experience I had. Some didn't even bother trying to make a post. The most laughable part of this is, the League of Reason forum has rules too, and they also block people who violate them. So can we all be mature adults now? Can we all agree how completely sad it is that I had to make a second video explaining the rules and how blocking people for violating them is not censorship? These rules are also posted on my channel page. As far as I'm concerned, there are no excuses anymore. And please, if you see anywhere where someone is falsely accusing me of censorship, post a link to this video.